Skytop is a local apple-picking orchard right across the North Carolina border. It's on top of a mountain, so people go there for the great views. This sign welcomes you to Skytop and gives you an idea of the feel of the place, a homey, welcoming, pick-your-own-apple orchard. Skytop is a very family-friendly orchard. It's a beautiful place for everyone, but there are also things for families and small kids to do. They have a playground, they have a little goat farm. You can see in this photo to the right how many families with small children there are. They all come and pick apples together. Skytop has rows and rows and rows of different kinds of apples. It's a huge place and it's pretty easy to get lost. But they have little hand-painted signs, just like the welcome sign that you saw in the first picture, that point you in the right direction and have all the different names of the different types displayed. Here is an image of the views that Skytop is known for. The name of the orchard comes from how high it is. You can also see in this photo the fall foliage. This picture really doesn't do it justice, but the surrounding red and gold leaves on top of the mountain are really a pretty sight. This is what it looks like from inside one of the rows in the orchard. The apples have almost all fallen to the ground at this point. It's very difficult to find any ripe apples in the trees. In this row, I actually didn't find any. Some people pick the freshly fallen ones off the ground because they can't find any in the trees. These red apples here were the most available. The trees had the most apples on them and on the ground around them. And they also had the most people inside these trees picking the apples. You can see how most of these apples that are on the ground are still intact. They have fallen very recently, and some of them just fell while I was there. So the apple in the bottom of this picture is actually not a Granny Smith. Those are green. It fell from the row next to the sign. There weren't many Granny Smiths left at all, and I didn't actually see any on the trees. But the sign was all alone in the middle of a completely empty section of the orchard, so it was really quiet and peaceful and just a pretty shot. Skytop also has a small store where they sell their homemade products. Because it's also pumpkin season, you can see in this photo that they're selling those out front. You can also see in this picture the family atmosphere, all the parents and their children that are walking around the area where Skytop is selling their products. They are also well known for their apple cider donuts. I hear about them all the time. First time was freshman year when I first got to Furman. The line you saw in the last picture was about a 20-minute wait to get some of these donuts, which of course I did. The donuts are a little pricey, but very, very good. A close-up of the apple cider donuts that I bought. The employees make them fresh, so they come out really hot. The reason that the wait is so long is actually because the donuts are literally made to order. I'm not sure how they do it, but these were the best donuts I've ever had. It was definitely worth the wait and even the money. This was a sign inside the actual store. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to have apple cider donuts without apple cider, another product made and sold by Skytop. It's pretty good, and the hand-painted sign in this shot really emphasizes the homemade feel of the whole place, and it's a theme throughout their store. So I found where all the good apples from the trees go, inside the store where the employees have picked and bagged the most attractive fruit from the trees. If you didn't actually want to go do your own picking, you can just buy a bag of fresh apples from inside the store at Skytop. I went to a German festival called Oktoberfest at a local bakery. This was the sign on their front door. The festival really focused heavily on food, and the sign they have displayed clearly indicates both the culture behind the festival and what they're actually offering to the people who come. This place was very busy with lots of activity and music and movement. In this picture you can see the flags along the left, a nod to the countries whose culture was being replicated. In the foreground of the picture there's a little boy running around, and if you look closely you can see he's actually wearing a German costume, which his parents must have done to reflect his German heritage. And here is an elderly man also dressing up. A lot of people seem to get really into the cultural aspect of this festival. A lot of strangers seem to be bonding over what I can only guess were common ancestral ties. I wouldn't be surprised if some people there even their families had come straight from a German country. In this photo, I tried to emphasize the German flag, since that was the basis of the entire festival, the German Oktoberfest. Of course, there were plenty of beer trucks there, because you don't think of Oktoberfest without thinking of beer. The food tent was constantly busy, being bombarded with hungry or even just curious people. They offered traditional German foods like kibasi, a German sausage, and pierogies. I didn't actually get any of the food there, but it all smelled and looked really good. Another German-influenced food available at the festival were these adorable little gingerman cookies. They were really popular the whole night, and were being served by girls in costumes, which made the whole experience feel kind of like a play. It wasn't just about the food, it was about the whole atmosphere, which this really helped. Here is one of the girls working in the bakery who was dressed up. The employees seemed like they were having a lot of fun with the festival, which is surprising considering it was held on a Sunday, a day they would normally be off because the bakery was closed. Their enthusiasm made the whole atmosphere feel very intimate and fun. Finally, this is an image of the inside of a large outdoor tent. It's difficult to capture in a single photo the live music, the energy, the laughter, the chatter, and the generally exciting atmosphere that was going on here. I don't personally have any German heritage, but this kind of made me wish I did.